everyone, Kayla here, and this is What the Kink, a natural hair channel run by someone who is just a natural hair enthusiast. And that is what I want to talk about today. I, of course, have been on YouTube a very long time. If you're new here, you do not know about my background. I think I put up the very first video in 2009. I had gotten my armpit length relaxed hair cut into a bob, a razor cut bob at that, and I was just showing off my new haircut. I had just used YouTube like web hosting. I wasn't really actually trying to like make a video like what I do now. And I also had a blog that was about natural hair because I began to transition to natural hair instead of growing my hair out and like to a new relaxed length. I was like, I'll just stop getting relaxers and go natural. And so this channel has been live that long. I've just unlisted all of the old videos. And so being on YouTube as long as I have, you do start to get people who look to you in a certain way and they ask you questions and things like that. And so a question that I do get from time to time is people will ask me, does this work on this type of hair? Or does this work for this type of situation? So, oh, I have really fine hair. Will this work for me? Will this work for 4C hair? I live in a very dry climate. Will this work for me? I get asked these type of things a lot. And the short answer that I'm going to give you guys is, I don't know. I literally don't know. I am not able to give you really customized information that is particular to your situation because I am not, for instance, a hairstylist who is in everybody's hair. They see all these different situations and they can kind of rely on their past patterns and observations to be able to give you some sort of answer. And then of course they can really give you a serious concrete answer if you go in for a consultation. I'm not in your hair. I'm not seeing your hair. I don't know, will something work for 4C hair because I don't have that type of hair. So I really can't give you that type of information. But I will say, getting off on a side tangent about will it work for 4C hair. Number one, 4C hair, if we're going through the true meaning of this original chart, 4C hair is describing a shape of curl and a size of that shape of curl, right? So I don't really know how someone could sit there with the formulation of the product and be like, I'm going to make this work for the little curls. I'm going to make this one work for the big curls. I just don't think that your curl pattern really has much of a effect on how a product works for you or what a product will do for you. And also there really isn't a good consensus in our natural hair community on what 4C hair is. Some people are going with the definition of what I just said, of 4C being the shape and the size of the curls. Other people think of 4C as a certain look, like, okay, so the hair doesn't have a lot of shine and it's dry and it's this, that, other, like a behavior, so it's 4C hair. So we don't seem to have an agreement on what 4C hair is, first of all. But, you know, as I said earlier, I don't have 4C hair, either the shape or the size of the curl, nor do I have these behaviors that are usually attributed to 4C hair. So because of that, I cannot tell you what the product will do for 4C hair. And that really leaves the overall question of, what does it really mean for a product to work? What do we consider working? So I think we can kind of like come together and develop like what do we consider like a rubric for what do we consider a product working. I think the first thing that should be on there is, I think a product is working if it somewhat matches the promises on the front of the container. So if they are saying that the product is going to provide shine, then if the hair is shiny, then it worked. If they are saying that it is going to, I hate to say this one, but if they're saying it's going to strengthen the hair and the hair feels strengthened, then it worked. But the thing is, your typical non-salon grade product that is geared towards strengthening, you probably would have to use it for quite some time to see if it's working. And it's not something where you can just wash your hair one time and we were like, it works. And I think that also adds on another category here is the thinking of the time frame. Like, how long are you giving it to see the results? Like, some things you just can't try it one time and be like, it worked or it didn't work. So, in the instance, like a great example is like the protein treatments. Like if you're trying to strengthen your hair, I mean, you would need time to see if something like that is working. Deep conditioners are saying that they're going to increase the elasticity of your hair. It would take time to see if it's increased the elasticity of your hair. I think the only thing that would be more so instantaneous is if they're giving you promises related to styling, then you can immediately see if it gave you the style or not. If it's a product that is for hold, a styler, if it provided hold, I would consider it to have been working. It worked. I think also working is extremely personal because it needs to work for your lifestyle. And it also needs to work within your preferences, right? So for me, something lasting through humidity is working. But someone who maybe lives somewhere where it's not humid, they don't need that. So that really doesn't really bear anything on the working or not working of the product for them because they don't need humidity protection. Whereas me, I step out this door. Yeah. Okay, you can feel the water in the air. Also, preference. I don't prefer my hair to be like crazy, crunchy, super hold anymore. I used to go for that. I don't anymore. I like my hair to have a decent amount of definition, but it can be bigger. It doesn't have to be completely laid down. I actually prefer a more flexible hold, something that, you know, like got a little weight, a little flop to it. And I think that's just because I've gotten used to the botanical gels and how they kind of do. But I think for someone else that might not be working because they don't want their hair to be super stiff. They don't want their hair to be like more flexible and soft. Also, maybe you need your hair to last through a workout. I don't tend to sweat in my head or do workouts where I sweat in my head, so that's not a requirement for me. Some of you guys only need your hair to last 3 days because you wash your hair every 3 days. That's working. So I think two things that I really want to kind of open up this dialogue with you guys about is, number one, I'm just a YouTuber. Like, I really can't tell you if something works. And number two, you're going to have to define for yourself what working is. We can have this discussion in the comments for sure. Let me know your thoughts on what it is for something to work. But in the end, it's ultimately a personal thing, determining if something works or not. That being said, I make videos every week, and I will talk to you in the next one.